Welcome back to On the Volley. As you can see, I'm here in the centre of Rome, outside the Shamrock Irish pub, just round the corner from the Colosseum. It's been a while since I've been here talking about Celtic, and to be totally honest, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to do this video, because after our performance, or lack of, man, I mean, you know, what can I say? What can I say? I said this already, that it's taken us a while and we still haven't got into the swing of things. We still haven't got into playing the Celtic way. We've just gone backwards from last season. And, you know, you can turn around and say, well, okay, we've lost Kun. No, va benissimo, tranquillo. You can turn around and say, you know, we've lost Kun, we haven't replaced him. You can turn around and say, we lost Kyogo, we haven't replaced him. I mean, you know, it's very hard to replace Kyogo. Dyson Maeda stepped up last season, so, you know, should we really be mentioning Kyogo? Yes, Jota is out, and I heard, you know, that he won't be back until October, he won't be back until next year. I'm not a medic. I don't know when he'll be back, but he is a major loss at the moment. Now, if we look at our performances in the domestic league and cup, domestically speaking, yeah, we our first 3 league games we won. You know, 1-0, 2-0, and then 3-0 against Livingston. And to be fair to Rodgers, you know, the Livingston game, he had completely changed the team, yeah? Putting on fringe players. And in the second half, did his substitutions, and we was a lot better. Our Scottish League Cup round game against Falkirk, yeah, we smashed them, but that was to be expected as well. So, you know, nothing new there. I've always said, you know, we don't have to worry about domestic competition. There's nobody anywhere near us. Although I did say that I believe this season, based on what I saw last season, that them lot down the road would probably be challenging us. Now, it's early days. It's only 3 league games, yeah? But we've already built up a 6-point lead against them. You know, they've drawn their first 3 games. We've scored 6. And we've kept a clean sheet in all 3 league games. So that was never the worry, even with the way we're playing. Now, I say this every season. Our goal, our objective has to be Europe, has to be the Champions League. And to be totally honest, when Brendan Rodgers came in, me, like so many other Celtic fans, wasn't too sure about it. I stated that I was on the fence with him, yeah? I wasn't sure about Brendan. I know that the first season, you know, he did well, but then he left. And the fans weren't happy about the way that Brendan left the first time round. Now, I'll get to why I said that. But, you know, after the 2 seasons, especially last season, yeah? And especially with how we played, how Brendan had them playing in the Champions League, I had to put my hand up and just say, you know what, I was completely wrong. What could I say? Brendan had proven me wrong. Mark Nugent, who always comments on my vids, he had been saying to me from day one, have faith in him, have faith in him, have faith in him. And Mark was right. Now, this is the last season of Brendan's contract. And I've heard a lot about the fact that, you know, on transfers or lack of transfers. Look, I don't know if the problem is a lack of transfers. What I will judge and criticise the board for is the fact that they leave some transfers up until the last minute. Should we have replaced Kun? Maybe. Can we find someone at Kun's level That is a question. Is there anybody else that can play like Kyogo that we can bring in? That's another question. Look, I've always said that I trust our recruitment team. But going back to where I would criticise the board is why leave things to the last minute. It's like Balik Wisha, apparently he's coming in now. But we've been talking about him. We've heard the fact that he was probably, you know, Celtic were interested in him and we wanted to bring him in, and finally it's been done. But why can't we bring these players in before the season starts? Why can't we do forward planning? And that is the problem that we have. Now, can we blame the board for us being knocked out of the Champions League? No, I don't think so. Because if you look at it, Kara Almaty, okay, in the seedings, they're 250 places beneath Celtic. On paper, we should have smashed them, to be totally honest. Maybe not smashed them, but we should have won. It should have been a done deal, yeah? But if you look at our performance in the first leg, the first half, we were very, very, very poor. The second half, when he brought Yang on, okay, things changed. We started to look a little bit more like the Celtic we know. We finished 0-0, okay, fine. That was our home advantage gone. For Kara Almaty, that was equal to a win for them because they kept a clean sheet. You've got to give it to Kara Almaty, you know, first leg, great performance, great defensive performance. Didn't really create much, didn't really trouble Celtic. And the same can be said in the second leg. In the first half, they came out, and you could see they were up for it. Excuse me. But even before kickoff, when they were in the huddle, you could clearly hear the captain shouting, "No respect, no respect." They were up for it. They had the mentality that they were going to come out, try and play, and show Celtic no respect. And that is precisely what they did. But remember, they're 250 places in the seeding beneath us. Take nothing away from Kara Almaty. I thought, you know, the first half, you know, they edged it. Us, we were poor. We looked as if we were the underdogs and Kara Almaty were the favourites. We were playing too many sideways passes, backward passes. We looked scared to attack. And I mean, this is just my opinion. This is how I interpreted the game, yeah? It looked as if, before they came out for the kickoff, Brendan Rodgers had said to them, "I don't care what you do, just don't concede." Now, you say that to your players, they're going to play defensively. They're going to play cautiously, which is what we did. Now, I don't know if Brendan said that or not, but that was the way we were playing. That wasn't Celtic. And even the second half. Okay, yes. Dyson Maeda, 85th minute, through on goal. Let's be honest, Dyson should have just dink it over the keeper. He hit it with a little bit of power over the keeper, but it just went just over the bar. Let's be honest, Maeda should have buried that, man. Maeda should have buried that. Well, what can you say? It happens. Okay, he's not the first player that's missed an opportunity like that, and he won't be the last player that misses an opportunity like that. Going at the end of the game, okay, end of 90 minutes, extra time. Even in extra time, apart from the last 10 minutes, well, Matty, you could see, okay, they were playing just to go to penalties. Now, let's not forget, they beat Slovan Bratislava on penalties to get through to play against us, yeah? We should never have gone to penalties. We should never have allowed it to get there. But we really didn't show anything. Now, another thing, Brendan Rodgers, every time the camera panned to him, I just didn't see any life. I didn't see any passion. There was no communication with the players. Maybe when the camera didn't pan to him, maybe he was doing that. I don't know. I can't comment on what I didn't see. I can only comment on what I did see. And I'm like, man, your body language is wrong. It's negative. And to be totally honest, I think the body language of the players, the style of play they were playing, was wrong and negative as well. You know, so, and they say that, you know, the players reflect the boss, okay, or, you know, your staff, the staff reflect the manager or the owner. I just couldn't understand it. I'll be honest with you, it's the worst I've seen Celtic play in Europe. Look, I don't mind the fact that we got knocked out, okay? We've been beaten before, but we've been beaten. Yet, we were able to walk, the players were able to walk off that pitch with their heads held up high. Us as Celtic supporters, even though we'd lost, we were proud to be Celtic supporters. And I mean, just because we lost doesn't mean we're not going to be proud to be Celtic supporters. Don't get me wrong, don't misinterpret what I'm saying. I'm just saying that we lost with pride because we knew our team gave everything. We knew our team took the game to the other team. That can't be said against Almaty. That was just poor. That was just an embarrassment. That was just, you know, it leaves me speechless. It really does leave me speechless because I'm thinking to myself, well, what's happened from last season to this season? Last season, we actually improved on our results in Europe. That, for me, was a launching pad to get even better this season and go even further in Europe. But we've gone backwards. Now, I don't know what the relationship is with Rodgers and the board at the moment. Is Rodgers, does he feel let down? Does he feel that the board has made him promises and they haven't kept it? So he's just, you know, hasn't got any incentive anymore? Is the rumour of the fact that Nottingham Forest might be looking for another manager, they might be getting rid of Nuno Espirito Santo, okay, and in the hat, the names in the hat to take over Nuno is Ange Postecoglou and Brendan Rodgers. Has that played a part? Did it look like the players were playing for him? Because let's be honest, if Rodgers doesn't have the passion, if Rodgers' mind is somewhere else, let's not forget this is the last year of his contract, is Rodgers just waiting to get back into the Premier League, knowing that maybe Nottingham Forest will come knocking on the door, knowing that Graham Potter is under some serious amount of pressure? Yeah, my money would have been on Graham Potter being the first one to get sacked, to be totally honest. But it now looks between Potter and maybe Nuno, based on the rumours. Has that swayed him? Is his mind now on the Premier League and what his next challenge is going to be? Is he ready? You know, is his mind already gone from Celtic and the Scottish League to the Premier League? Because if that's the case, then it will definitely rub off on the players and their performance. So the whole point of it is, I don't know what the problem is. I don't think we can blame the board for being knocked out by Almaty. We can blame Rodgers and the lack of passion and the negative style of football we played against Almaty. That's the way I see it. Another rumour that I heard is that Ange Postecoglou is not really too sure about going to Forest if they do go knocking on the door for him. I think he's waiting for a bigger challenge. I think I said that in my last video on Ange. But I think if they go knocking on the door for Brendan Rodgers, he'll be there in a shot. Excuse me. He'll be there in a shot. So I think his mind's already gone. And I think Rodgers may, if he does go, blame the board and say that they didn't keep the promises that they made. But let's not forget, yeah, Rodgers spent what was it, 30 million on 3 players last year? Engels, Trusty, and I can't remember the other one, yeah. But were they the right players? Did Rodgers choose those players, or was it the recruitment? And that's another thing, you know, there's a lot of things we don't know. There is a lot of things we can only speculate on, yeah? The truth of the matter is, we should never have lost to Almaty. They deserve to win. That's the first time in their history that they've qualified, okay, for the Champions League. To be totally honest, I think they deserved it. You've got to be happy for Almaty and their fans. It's a first for them. Unfortunately, we paid the price. But let's be honest, we did it to ourselves. We have only ourselves to blame. We can't blame anybody else, yeah? I won't even blame the board for this. Like I said, Brendan Rodgers and the players, I'm sorry to say that. Now we got the Glasgow derby on the Sunday. You know what? I don't know what the atmosphere in our camp is at the moment. Whereas before, I'd be like, yeah, we got this in the bag. Yeah, nothing to worry about. I'm not too sure. I'm a little bit worried because our performances have still not gone into second gear or third gear. And we need to sort that out because otherwise we risk losing to them lot down the road on Sunday. And I hate to say that. I'm going to have to wash my mouth out with soap after saying that, yeah? But I've got to keep it real. Look, it's going to be interesting. Let's keep an eye on it, see what happens. I ain't got a clue. I don't know why we're playing so badly. I don't know what it is, but something needs to be done. Anyway, look, me, Shah, I'm out.